The Schuberth S3 is the new sport touring helmet from the German brand Schuberth. This full face helmet offers all the options and features you can expect from Schuberth. We have given this helmet to our test rider and he came back with a lot of interesting data, so stay tuned. Hi everyone, Team for Champion Helmets here and welcome to our channel. For today's video we will take a look at the Schuberth S3, and this helmet was designed with the safety of racing helmets, the comfort of touring helmets and was wind tunnel tested, which resulted in an aerodynamic, safe and sleek design. During our test we will discover if Schuberth's claims are true. We put a lot of time and effort into these reviews with just one goal, so that you can watch an honest review based on facts rather than marketing language and personal opinions. So if you appreciate this effort, hit that subscribe button and like the video so that we can continue to do these tests and you continue to receive honest in-depth reviews. Now that is clear, we're going to start the review with some general points. The Schuberth S3 has a more round fit and has a retail price starting at €550 or US dollar. The S3 will compete with helmets such as the Schuberth GTR2, Schuberth NXR2, AGC Alpha 71, LS2 Challenger Carbon and other high-end sport touring helmets. We're going to start the review and we will do so with the material part. The S3 is made from Schuberth's direct fiber processing technology. This has resulted in a strong fiberglass helmet, reinforced with carbon to increase impact absorption and create an even lighter helmet. The helmet is available in 7 sizes and only 2 outer shell sizes. The number of outer shell sizes is not the best number of outer shell sizes a helmet can have. A helmet with more outer shell sizes not only looks better and more compact, but it is also safer. If we add everything up, we see that the S3 earns a solid 3 stars for the material part. If we start comparing this with the other helmets, we see that, along with the AGC F70, it finishes at the bottom of the list. The other helmets that are made of fiberglass have more outer shell sizes, or they are made of carbon and earn more stars for this part. Not a great start from Schuberth, so let's quickly move on to the next part, which is the weight. Okay, great. Now that we're done with the material, we move on to an important part, and that is the weight, because a lighter helmet prevents fatigue in the neck and increases the riding experience. And when we weighed the S3 in a size M, the scale showed 1641 grams. This result earns the S3 a somewhat disappointing 3 stars for the weight part. If we compare this result with the other helmets, we see that it ends at the bottom of the list. And it's almost 100 grams heavier than the Alpha 71. ECE 2206 certified helmets are often on the heavier side because more material is used to pass this test. But compared to the 2206 certified helmets, the S3 is still on the heavy side. The lightest helmet we have weighed is the AGV K6S, which weighed just under 1300 grams, which is an exceptionally good result. Now that we're done with the weight and the material, let's move on to the visor of the helmet. The visor of the Schuberth S3 offers a large field of view, and the visor is also pinlock lens prepared, which is already pre-mounted on the visor. The pinlock lens that is pre-mounted on the visor is a 120 pinlock lens and prevents condense on your visor while riding. The S3 has an integrated sun visor that is scratch resistant and protects your eyes from the sun. The integrated sun visor can be operated with a slider on the side of the helmet. If we add all this together, we see that the S3 earns 4.5 stars for this part, which is an excellent result. If we compare this with the other helmets, we see that it ends almost at the top of the list. The GTR2 did just a little bit better thanks to a slightly better visor mechanism, and the EXO 1400 EVO thanks to an extra dark smoke visor. Looking further, we see that most helmets earn 4 stars for this part. So a great result from the S3. And now that we're done with the review in the studio, we're going to take a look at the results of the road test. Before we begin the road test, a brief explanation on how we collect our data. On the left side you see a white thermometer that is connected to a sensor inside the helmet. This thermometer indicates the inside temperature of the helmet. In the top center you see the decibel meter, which is connected to a microphone placed near our rider's ear. This records the sound as our rider hears it. On the right we see a phone that displays wind speed and outside temperature. And in the center we see the dashboard of the bike showing the riding speed of our rider. Now that is clear, we're going to start the road test with the noise. When we tested the S3 out on the road, we had an average wind speed of 120 km and riding speed of 130 km an hour. Looking at the decibel meter, we see that the S3 had an average of 100 decibel, which is a fine result. This earns the S3 a nice 4 stars for noise. And if we start comparing this again with the other helmets, we see that the S3 ends in the middle of the list. The helmet is 3 decibel quieter compared to the GTR2 and the EXO 1400 EVO. 3 decibel doesn't seem like much, but at these kind of values it is a clear audible difference for the rider. But despite the difference, the S3 performs well and competes well with its direct competitors. We move on to another important part, and that is the ventilation of a helmet. we're going to take a brief look at the ventilation options before discussing the results. The helmet has a double air intake on the chin that you both can open and close. The helmet also has a large closable top vent, and all the warm air can escape through the air outlet on the back of the helmet. If we look at the results of the road test, we see that the helmet had the same temperature inside the helmet compared to the outside temperature, which is an excellent result. This earns the S3 4 stars for the ventilation. If we're going to compare this with the other helmets, we see that it does an excellent job and tops the list along with the XO 1400 Evo, Alpha 71 and the LS2 Challenger Carbon. In the list of premium sport touring helmets there is only one outlier, and that is the Arai Profile V. In fact, this helmet was 7 degrees hotter inside the helmet, so a good result from the S3. We continue with the only subjective part of this review, and that is comfort. Comfort is difficult to capture in hard numbers, and therefore we lean on the more than 15 years of riding experience of our test rider, who also tested all the other helmets and thus can make a comparison like no other. The test rider told us that the S3 felt nice while riding and offered little wind resistance on the highway, which he said was to be expected since the helmet was tested in Schuberth's in-house wind tunnel. The S3 has an inner lining that is removable, washable and antibacterial. It is also possible to replace the inner lining thanks to Schuberth's individual program. This program allows customers to customize the thickness of the inner lining pads for an even better fit. Adding this up, we see that the S3 earns 4 stars for the comfort part. And when we start comparing it to the other helmets, we see that it performs well and is on par with most of the other helmets. Only the GTR 2 did better with a score of 5 stars thanks to its personal fitting and small details such as the soft material that is placed behind the ears. So a good result from Schuberth. We're going to start on the last part before looking at the results. Schuberth S3 is ECE 2006 certified, which has become mandatory for manufacturers when designing and producing new helmets. In addition, the helmet is wind tunnel tested, which has resulted in an aerodynamic design that allows less wind and noise through when riding at higher speeds. The S3 uses Schuberth's anti-roll-off system, which is connected to a chin strap. The chin strap has a new position that provides a more comfortable fit around the throat. Also, the S3 has an emergency quick release, so the helmet can be safely removed if needed. And the closure of the S3 is a micromatic closure. The helmet is also prepared for a plug-and-play Sena SC2 communication system, based on Sena's 50S communication system with speakers, mesh, FM radio and Bluetooth pre-installed in the helmet. This means that the microphone and speakers are already installed in the helmet, and all you have to do is plug in the system. If we add up all the features, the S3 earns 4.5 stars, which is a great result. This puts the helmet at the top of the list along with the Alpha 71. The other helmets, except for the NXR2, did not exceed 3 stars, and the Challenger Carbon earned 2 stars. The S3 owes this high scores to the new certification and the fact that the helmet was wind tunnel tested. So a great result from the S3. And now that we have discussed all the parts, we will continue with the final results. Now that we have covered all the parts, we can start looking at the overall summary and the final score. For material, the S3 earned 3 stars, because the helmet is made of fiberglass and comes in 2 out-of-shell sizes. Weighing 1641 grams, the helmet earned 3 stars for the weight. For the visor, because the pinlock is pre-mounted on the helmet, and because the helmet has an integrated sun visor, the helmet earned 4.5 stars. With a result of 100 decibel, it earned 4 stars for the noise and 4 stars for ventilation thanks to the same temperature inside the helmet compared to the outside temperature. Our test rider found the helmet felt nice while riding, giving it 4 stars for comfort and 4.5 stars for features thanks to the 2006 certification and because the helmet was wind tunnel tested. If we add up all the earned stars, the S3 has an average of 3.9 stars, for which you pay €20 per earned star. Would you like more information about the Schuberth S3? Then be sure to take a look in our webshop, championhelmets.com, where we always offer the lowest price guarantee and have great discount bundles. Also, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more reviews and guides. Thanks for watching, my name is Timo from Champion Helmets, and until next time.